What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new episode of Down South Up North. Hope you guys are having a good Friday. Matt, brother, is that time of the year the NFL honors are here. But before we get into the whole episode, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. It's a little feel good Friday here on Down South Up North. Gonna go over our picks from the beginning of the year, but I'm good if we don't, because I think we all
Yeah, my Super Bowl team is the Jets.
the Jets.
So,
I just wanted to highlight just a little bit before we got into the athletic
but my MVP pick does look good. That's about the only good take I've had on this show far. A long time ago I had Josh Allen win an MVP, but let's waste no time and get into the athletic alert. All right, dude, keeping it short and sweet today. Gabe will join later, hopefully, but we're doing the honors. So for the people that don't know, it's Coach of the Year, Comeback Player of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year, Offense and Defensive Player of the Year, and MVP. So, Matt, I'll let you do the honors and get this thing started.
No pun intended. All right, Kyle, we're going to go from the bottom to the top. Starting with Coach of the Year. They have Assistant Coach of the Year. Not really that intrigued by that. But Kyle, start this off, dude. Coach of the Year. You know how important coaching is. Hopefully the Cowboys can have a coach in this race, but I don't think that'll ever happen. Let's start from the bottom up. Andy Reid from the Kansas City Chiefs. They had 15 wins. Hell of a year. Dan Quinn for the Commanders, who had the second overall pick last year in the draft, had a phenomenal year. Sean Payton, after writing off Russell Wilson last year, drafted Bo Nix, who was the sixth quarterback taken off the board last year, and they made the playoffs. Kevin O'Connell, I don't think anybody saw the Vikings going 14-3. I certainly didn't. And, of course, Mr. I'll bite your kneecaps off, Dan Campbell. They also had 15 wins, the Detroit Lions. Out of those five, who are we taking for Coach of the Year, Kyle?
Dude, you're going to hate this, but I'm going Dan Quinn. Personally. Dude, Washington has been a dumpster fire for literally our entire lifetime. I mean, they had that good run with RG3, but that was it. Last year, this team won 4 games, and Sam Howell was your quarterback. Now you are playing in the NFC Championship just a year later. Like, when Dan was with the Falcons, I like Dan Quinn. He's a defensive-minded coach. He's good. And to take this Washington team from here to here, you draft Jaden Daniels, which was ballsy, I think, but it's played off super well. You got Scary Terry. You got Zach Ertz. You have a good defense. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely love Dan Campbell, but just what Dan Quinn has done with this Washington team, I got to go Dan.
I hate to agree with you on that because he was with my beloved Cowboys for a long time. I actually had hoped Jerry Jones would have promoted him to the head coaching role, but unfortunately we all saw how that played out, and you kind of just lost him. But unfortunately, I'm going to have to disagree. I don't think it would be bad if they chose him. But what Kevin O'Connell, despite what happened in the playoffs with them, losing J.J. McCarthy, who was going to be a rookie quarterback, in my opinion, winning 14 games, you couldn't predict that. You could not predict that Vikings team that everybody thought was going to finish at least third in that division goes on, and they're fighting for the last week of the season to win that division. With Sam Darnold calling the shots, Kyle. I mean, look, this is a guy who I think he's like a Geno Smith-esque, right? He's having a little resurgence in the second half of his career. I guess that's what the New York Jets do to people and quarterbacks in particular in the NFL. But what Kevin O'Connell has done, bringing in Brian Flores to call the shots on defense, I think was spectacular. And it's not like they played in an easy division and just ran the division, 6 wins. Like they earned all 14 of those wins.
Easily the most competitive division in the NFL this year.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. So yeah, I gotta go Kevin O'Connell. But that goes for Coach of the Year. Let's move up to Comeback Player of the Year. Obviously, a couple of these names they're coming off of either an injury, for Damar Hamlin's sake, death, for Sam Darnold's sake, the bench. But we have Joe Burrow, Sam Darnold, J.K. Dobbins, Christian Gonzalez, and Damar Hamlin. Who do you got for Comeback Player of the Year?
Dude, I'm going with Sam Darnold, dude. Kind of the same argument you made about Kevin O'Connell. In the Vikings, no one had this team winning over 10 games this year. And the fact that the man leading the charge was Sam Darnold, I feel like that is Comeback Player of the Year worthy. All these guys had good years, dude. Joe Burrow had a season-ending injury last year. Sam Darnold just kind of his career reviving out of nowhere. J.K. Dobbins. Did he have a season-ending injury last year?
I believe it was an ACL.
Yeah, I want to say it was an ACL. Same with Christian, and then like you said, Damar was just plain old death. But that's so messed up, dude. Just give me Sam Darnold.
All right,
He's a stud.
I'm going Damar Hamlin. I'm sorry. I know he won it last year too, but he's actually played at an elite level this year for that Buffalo defense when a lot of guys left. And it's hard to do that, Kyle. It's hard to die on the field, come back to life, and still play at an elite level. That's something that I would never do. So, got to give it to him. Now we're heading to rookies. All right, let's start with AP, Defensive Rookie of the Year. Cooper DeJean from the arch-rival Eagles. Braden Fisk from the Los Angeles Rams. Quinyon Mitchell, another Eagles corner. Chop Robinson from down there in the Miami Dolphins. And Jared Verse, Rams linebacker, who, by the way, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, made the Pro Bowl this year. So,
yeah, I'm going Jared Verse, dude. And that game versus who did they beat the first round? Where Jared Verse was just eating,
they beat
dude.
the Vikings, the team we just talked about.
Yes, dude, belt to ass, man. I mean, what they have, 9 sacks as a team? Yeah, they had a lot. And Jared Verse was pretty sure he took one back to the crib that game after sacking Sam Darnold. So give me Jared Verse.
I'm going to have to agree. If there's anything about this dude, Sean McVay, and that Rams organization, they know how to draft, especially in the last couple of years, getting Puka Nacua. Finding these diamonds in later rounds. They did it with Jared Verse as well. And they, like you said, man, they come after the quarterback. They are going to eat you. They're going to get through that line. They're going to get to the quarterback every single time. And Jared Verse, when you watch him play, I don't know how. I didn't watch much football this year, if I'm being completely honest. Like, I actually had other things going on in my life than football. Thank God. But watching Jared Verse play, the opportunities that I did to get to watch him play, absolute stud. You would not have known he's a rookie hadn't anybody told you. So, agreed on that. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Brock Bowers, who broke Mike Ditka's rookie record of receptions, 112, I believe he had. Jaden Daniels, we all know what he did, the second overall pick in the draft. Malik Neighbors did it with a Daniel Jones, so that's pretty impressive. Bo Nix proved a lot of people wrong, myself included. I'm raising my hand. And Brian Thomas Jr. for the Jags. Very good rookie class, must I say.
Yeah, I was about to say, dude, this rookie class definitely surprised me, to say the least. All these guys had a pretty solid year, dude. Brock Bowers, like you said, having the greatest tight end rookie season ever. Malik Neighbors played very well with the shitty quarterback. Bo Nick surprised a lot of people. Brian Thomas played very well, but it's Jaden Daniels award just because I drafted this guy in my dynasty league, dude, and I didn't believe in him like that. And he has them in the NFC Championship against the Eagles. So I feel like you just gotta go Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, it pains me, man. It pains me seeing division rivals do this, but he is JD5. He is a great player. He is excellent at football. Won the Heisman, went to LSU. The hype was there. I remember during the draft period leading up to it, Washington was kind of locked in on Drake May. And then after the combine, after some other discussions within the organization, it came out that they were favored to take Jaden Daniels, and they did. And that did scare me. And I'm like, watch Jaden Daniels play, watch him win the Heisman. This guy's going to be a dog. And boy, he's accomplished as a rookie quarterback. Kyle, I think the league's in trouble for years to come. So, agreed on that. Next up, Offensive Player of the Year. We have Saquon Barkley, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Derrick Henry, and Lamar Jackson. A lot of these are, they're all 5 players for each one. A lot of them are teammates, though.
Yeah, which is weird.
Who do you got for Offensive Player of the Year? Now, I know, just putting a disclaimer out there for my pick, because a lot of these guys are in the MVP race. I'm predicting this as if they did not win the MVP.
Yeah.
Just throwing it out there.
I'm going with Saquon. I don't think Saquon's going to win the MVP, but I'm going with Saquon Barkley. Dude, it's just like this guy gets injured, gets banged up really bad with the Giants. I mean, last year didn't even break 1,000 yards. The year before that it's either this dude's going over 1,000 or he's just going to be injured. In 2020, he played 2 games because he was injured. And then next year plays 13, doesn't even break 600. And this year he breaks over 2,000 yards, plays in 16 games, 13 touchdowns. I mean, this guy's a beast, dude. This guy's a beast. Reminds me of CJ2K. Shout out my boy. Yeah, I feel like he has Offensive Player of the Year in the bag.
I agree, and it's tough because Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase had a phenomenal year.
Together, both of them had a really good. I think Jamar's triple crown.
Right,
now.
Yeah, it's like triple crown, and he's probably not going to win Offensive Player of the Year. That's just saying a lot of guys had a great year. You look at Lamar Jackson, you look at Derrick Henry. The two of them dominated all year on the ground and through the air. So, I mean, honestly, I wouldn't hate if any of these 5 won the award.
Yeah, I
but
wouldn't be mad.
Kyle, I will say, I put that disclaimer out there just because I don't think Saquon's going to win MVP. If there's one play, if I were to ask you in 10 years, that one play, right? We go back in time, we think about the helmet catch in the 2007 Super Bowl, Giants versus Patriots. Right, that was a great play. I hate to bring it up, but 2016 when James White caught that game-winning touchdown from Brady, right? Like, these are game-changing plays. If I ask you for one play in 10 years about the 2024-2025 season, I think it's going to be Saquon Barkley hurtling over somebody backwards.
Yeah,
that is something we've never seen before, something that's going to go down in history, stuff like that. So I agree. I've got Saquon. Kind of agreeing on a lot of these, but I think it's kind of undisputed. All right, tricky one for me personally. Defensive Player of the Year, Zach Bond for the Philadelphia Eagles, Myles Garrett, who is the previous winner, defending champion of Defensive Player of the Year, Trey Hendrickson, Pat Surtain, and TJ Watt.
Dude, this one's really tough for me also. I'm running through these guys' stats right now just to see if I can make the right call. I don't think it's TJ. TJ has 11 and a half sacks, and he just can't get it done in the playoffs. Miles has about 14 sacks, 14 and a half, and he just can't really get it done in the playoffs either. I think I got to go Trey Hendrickson here, dude. 17 and a half sacks.
Led the NFL.
Led the NFL. I think, and PS2 is having a really good year too. He is, but I think it's Trey.
I would agree with you, but I'm gonna have to go PS2. I'm gonna have to go Pat Surtain for the simple reason. What was the biggest thing that held the Cincinnati Bengals out of the playoffs this year?
That held the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, like held them back. Because if you ask me, it's defense. I know. Trey had a great season leading the NFL in sacks. Is no easy task. However, the sack numbers were down tremendously this year. But PS2, man, you look at his stats. You look at the Broncos. I mean, this guy is, he is the next lockdown corner of the league. He is the next Richard Sherman, Darrelle Revis-esque. I'm not going to say he's on that tier just yet, but you line it up across PS2, a lot of problems are gonna occur. So he's got me for Defensive Player of the Year. And the most important, wrapping up this first segment, Kyle, who is your AP NFL most valuable player?
Mark Ingram once said,
Oh, I thought you...
Big trust. What do you think I said?
I thought you were picking Mark Ingram. I'm like, he hasn't played in the league.
No.
Okay.
Mark, yeah. No. I see what you're saying. Now you're like, who do you pick? Mark Ingram. No, Mark Ingram once said, big trust. Lamar Jackson. I think he goes back to back, dude. I think he goes back to back. Last year, he won the MVP with 24 touchdowns and 7 picks and 3,600 yards. This year, 4,100 yards,
Yep.
41 touchdowns, and 4 picks. I want Josh Allen to win. Don't get me wrong. I love Josh Allen, and he's having probably the best year of his career right now. But, I mean, it's just so hard to beat those numbers, dude. Josh has 28 and 6. That's just – it just doesn't compare to Big Trust, dude. It doesn't.
Nah, Big Trust probably had the Aaron Rodgers in 2021 missed one game due to the COVID, but he was 37-4. It's like, okay, you take 37-4, that's a damn good season. And now you're gonna have a guy throw/rush for 4 more touchdowns. To me, I completely agree. However, I'm gonna call an interesting pick this one around for MVP. I think Kyle, for the first time since it happened a long time ago with Peyton Manning and Steve McNair, I'm gonna call a co-MVP winner.
Is that even possible?
I believe so. I'm gonna say Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson split the MVP trophy this year.
Honestly, dude, that could happen.
If you look last year, the roles were reversed. Josh Allen had the better stats.
Bro, even Joe Burrow, though. Joe Burrow has more touchdowns than Lamar.
Right, I know. But last year, the roles were reversed, and Lamar won. And if there's anything I've learned about these big leagues, the NBA, the NFL, they really hold their breath when they give it out twice. Like, you really have to be next level.
But I think that is next level.
No, I completely agree. But I think Josh Allen was robbed last year. And I've said it once, I'll say it again. Josh Allen did more with less. And I know he scored a lot of touchdowns, but Derrick Henry had a lot of freaking yards all season, dude. Derrick Henry had a lot of rushing yards that got them down into red zone inside the 10-yard line. And then, Lamar, yeah, he's finishing the job down there. No question. But what Josh Allen has done, I mean, dude, and I'm giving you credit here because you called it at the beginning of the year. He lost everybody, man. He lost Stephon Diggs. He lost half of his defense, right? Like, he lost a lot of pieces, and he still led Buffalo to the 2 seed. And just beat the Ravens. And I know it's a regular season award, but he put the team on his back in the playoffs, in the snow, and did what he had to do. So I know that has nothing to do with it, but he won the head-to-head battle the second time. They got smoked the first time they played each other by Baltimore, Derrick Henry in particular. But I'm calling it, dude. I'm calling a co-MVP, first time since Peyton Manning and Steve McNair. Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson split the most valuable player trophy.
Honestly, dude, I don't hate that. I don't hate that at all. I really don't.
So
I don't hate that.
That's all I got, man. That's that's a lot of awards. This airs next Thursday, so next week we'll probably be doing some reactions to this, but I feel good about it.
Yeah, I do too, dude. We were pretty close. We had a different coach. We had a different comeback player of the year. Same defensive rookie, same offensive rookie, same offensive player, different defensive player, different. Okay, so we were kind of back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But yeah, dude, I'm excited to see how well my votes do. But
keep a tally.
Yeah, we'll keep a tally. Just a little shout out. The only writer that didn't put Ichiro in the Hall of Fame, hope you stub your toe tomorrow morning. So just a little shout out.
Alrighty, that'll be a good weekend for him.
Yeah, yeah.
But all right, Kyle, it's going to be time for Gabe's Gambles on the other side.
Yes, sir.
So we will say farewell to you. All right, we are back on the other side with Gabe's Gambles. Gabe, welcome back. Happy 2025, dude. I know we had to give you some time off to, really understand what went wrong with your Pittsburgh Steelers, but welcome back to the show. Hopefully you took the time. Hopefully you took the time to, enjoy and take a deep breath. But we're happy to have you.
Feels good. Just left Cancun. You are correct with the Steelers. But, I don't know. Demoralized about that. I haven't thought about that for a couple of days, so thanks for bringing that up. But we're here to focus on MMA, man. Come on, bro.
You're welcome.
Come on,
all right.
No way we do this.
But look, hey, no UFC this weekend.
Nope.
So, instead of previewing next week, we're actually going to do the reverse. We're going to review what happened last week. So, let's take it away.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of fights that stood out. Kevin Holland proved that he is a journeyman. I don't know if he genuinely cares about his own career. Little hot take off top, but honestly, Kevin Holland's extremely disappointing at this point. He's losing to guys that he could be capable of beating, but it just looks like his effort level's not there. And in fighting in MMA and the UFC, it's crazy to say that out loud. They're fighting for their lives theoretically. And it's still just sometimes he comes out and just doesn't look like he cares. It seems lackadaisical. Some moments in fights will look amazing. It looks like he could be a world champion, but I don't think until he gets any self-belief, Kevin Holland, he's just going to be that middle of the pack journeyman that has some wins that are shocking and then has some losses.
I mean, he's won 2/3 his fights, 26-13. So you think it's a lack of effort?
Yeah, man, he's got the talent, all the talent in the world. His jiu-jitsu is extremely underrated, but yet he still continues not to improve upon areas where he needs to, like takedown defense or even just going his bread and butter, keeping range in boxing in his last fight. He just looks disappointing every time he steps in the cage as of recent. His past 3 fights, I believe, are all losses. So ever since that Wonder Boy fight where he just kept letting him up, which I love because I love Wonder Boy, but at the same time, like, you have to take away, hey, this is just a fun job. Kevin, you got to get some wins and beat these guys that are not on your level, in my opinion.
Yeah, and he's actually lost 4 of the last 5.
Yep.
3 fights in 2024, only won 1. That's nuts too, because he's in his prime. You know, it's not like he's an older fighter. It's not like he's a younger fighter with little experience. I mean, this guy is, if my math is correct, he'll be 33 this year.
Yep.
So, you know, it's not like we're talking about a guy who should be washed or Father Time is defeating him. I mean, this is just middle of your prime. And you're just going out here and losing almost every single fight.
That's a fair take, and yeah, that's why it's hard to be a fan of Kevin Holland at this point, personally.
Has he been favored in most of these fights?
Last fight, he was not favored, and I even bet against him because I knew, like, it's starting to get like that. Like, he's just starting to slowly lose his, I don't know, his mojo or his pride almost in fighting. It seems like he just doesn't care if he wins or loses. He just goes out there and does what he can.
Gabe, you got to give me like a homework study video packet of all these fighters. I just need to do my homework and really see this, because it's like these guys are going out there, and I know fighters don't make as much as other professional athletes. I know that's definitely for sure. But for a guy to go out in a ring and not really give a shit about it, for me, I'm like, dude, I'm going out there. I'm fighting for my, I'm putting my body on the line for a bag of money.
No, yeah, and honestly, this
right?
is where it's kind of honestly just fucked up for me to be saying this, but at the same time, you have to recognize, like, if you look at his previous fights to current, like you said, 33 is not old in the UFC. That's technically their prime years is around 32 years old, at least in my opinion. So it's tough to see Kevin just kind of lose when he doesn't look like he's worse than the guy. He just ends up losing.
And and correct me if I'm wrong, it is a massive difference of how much you get paid if you walk out of there a winner and if you walk 100%. Out of there a loser.
50-50, so he'd get double the money. Usually, I will say, Kevin might, he's got a name behind him, so maybe his contract's a little different. But yeah, you can win show and then you win money. So he's losing out on money as well, like you said. But he's got the beer commercials with Wonder Boy and a couple other. Like, Kevin's fine money-wise, but I don't know, man. As a fan of him, it's hard to be a fan of him. But another person, Matt, I want to talk about that got upset was the young Khabib's cousin, Umar Nurmagomedov, got upset. He was a minus 250 favorite heading into that fight, even though he was the challenger. And Merab Dvalishvili, man, just put on a cardio clinic. Won the last 3 rounds. One judge said he won 4 rounds out of 5. And just really and showing that, like, fight styles make everything different. Dricus du Plessis showed that in the past where he had championship fights and ended up winning. But, like, you see these guys who have cardio all day, every day, and somehow they just beat guys that they're less talented than. Like, Merab is not a better striker than Umar. Merab might not even be a better grappler. But when Merab mixes up his style and uses his cardio as well, it's a tough thing to beat. And, man, it was fun to see, finally, a Nurmagomedov finally lose in the octagon for once. I mean, you hear Nurmagomedov and you bet on them every time. But this time, Merab kind of broke that streak, so that was a good thing to see.
It's always good. I mean, minus 250 that's rather large in any sport for that matter.
That's a big dog. Just for perspective, that's around what the Commanders were, believe it or not. So, like, even though that seemed like a crazy upset, like, that's basically the same type of upset, plus 250 and minus 250 as the swing. I mean, Merab showed out. He proved the critics wrong, and he still has that belt, man, going strong. And I'm excited to see him kind of continue to defend that belt in the future, because I don't know if anybody can beat his style. He might have to get knocked out. That might be the only way.
You mentioned he was Khabib's cousin?
Yeah, Khabib was in his corner during the fight, as well as his other cousin, Islam Makhachev, who won or retained his belt right afterwards.
Okay, so other sports, right? We hear of cousins, we hear of nephews and uncles and all the other family members. How much of an impact does it have in the UFC world?
I think more than any other sport, believe it or not.
Wow,
Because you'll
okay.
never
I
see.
was not expecting that answer.
No, yeah, Matt, you'll never see like people just be this dominant as like the Nurmagomedov camp and all their family. Like he has a cousin in Bellator who's currently a champion, dog undefeated. Like people don't talk about him because he's in Bellator, but or PFL now technically, I believe. But he's a dog. He's got a Muay Thai champion, another person in his family that retired. And then he's got, obviously, Khabib, one of the greatest of all time. Islam took the belt right after Khabib left and has been defending it, looking really good, potentially just as good as Khabib. And then you got Umar, who was undefeated and competed against the champion recently. So, like, that bloodline, man, they don't have many losers. Saeed Nurmagomedov is on the up-and-coming card. Not next weekend, like you said, it's not till February 1st, but Saeed Nurmagomedov competes on that card too as well. So we'll see. Can another Nurmagomedov go to the top? But this time, one of the Nurmagomedovs finally got humbled, and Umar was the one to lose out of all his family members, to be honest.
Yeah, it seems like we're building a pretty big family tree
Yeah.
throughout the
It's
UFC.
like, you know the bloodline with WWE? I don't know if you're tapped in. It's almost like the bloodline with WWE. Instead of Roman Reigns and The Rock and the Usos, you got Khabib at the top as The Rock, and then you got Islam and Umar and Saeed, and then all these other guys that are in the family still coming up. It's tough.
I like that because you still see things like the upsets, like last week, where it's like, okay, even though they have the name, even though they have the relations to the one and only, it's not like they're favored. Even when you said he was in his corner, during that fight, where every other minute he's whispering in his ear, things to look out for and such. But as long as it's not rigged, as long as it's not their favorite every single time, I think it creates interesting storylines and narratives for the entire sport.
Yeah, well, what's crazy, because of that last name and because of the history of them just constantly winning, those Dagestani boys, people just bet on the Dagestani boys almost every time. So,
Right.
like you said, like they were a favorite. They are that, like, oh my God, nobody can beat them. But then we finally saw another guy just beat one of the Nurmagomedovs for the first time. And I want to make sure, Matt, if it's fine with you, I need an open forum for this, because one of my favorite fighters of all time, maybe my favorite fighter of all time, fights this weekend or in 2 weeks. So just in case we don't have a show, we should have a show next week, but just in case, I got a message to Izzy. Izzy, please knock this guy out. It's a newcomer. Off the top of his name, let me look it up real quick. It is Nasruddin Imayov. Nasruddin's look tough, but Izzy, man, you're minus 180. I bet on you every fight just because I love you, but you have to win this fight. You guys have the same amount of losses. This is your time to just get those young guys out of there. But if you lose this one, it's going to be tough for the rest of your career. So this is make or break for Izzy, and I am pulling for you, Izzy. Please finally get a win for your boy, man. I can't. These losing streaks I'm not used to with you. You're my GOAT. So, come on, bro. Pick it up.
That's true. Ever since you started, you have put the bag and your money on him.
Always, and I will be.
And I think we got to go back and check the tape, but I think he was your one that you missed the last time he lost. Like you had everything else on the card, it was good, and then that was your one.
Everything else on the card was good, but Izzy lost.
Screwed up the parlay.
See, and he looked good that fight. That's why I have.
He did. I remember texting you. I was like, 4 for 5. 4 for 5.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we're gonna hit 5 for 5. Wait on the picks next week. I can't give you all the sauce just yet. The lines have just started, so we'll wait till they move a little bit, see what also Vegas has to say. But there's some guys I like on this card for sure. I'm excited about Michael Venom Page finally coming back versus one of the younger Dagestani guys again, not related to the Khabib camp, but Shara Magomedov, the one-eyed bandit. But there's a bunch of good fights. I'll be tapped in It's not a pay-per-view, Matt, so we can watch for free. We get to watch Izzy get a knockout once again. Come on, Izzy. Come on, bro. Come on, bro.
I like
I'm
it.
tired of it.
I like it. I'll be watching, dude. Hey, look, maybe next week we'll do a little build a parlay. Kyle and I will throw in our 2 legs. You do the other 3 or 4, depending on how much.
Okay.
And we'll see. We'll see.
All right, build it on the episode. I'm not opposed to that.
We'll give you a little bit of a little bit of an assist.
Okay, I might need it, man. I might need it.
And then you know what? If we win it, then we got to do it for every single one, and you got to give us a cut every single time we win.
I don't know about the cut part, but we could definitely get that. You know?
Come on, that's the least. You at least got to give us
Come on, Chad.
a little percentage of what we win.
Like, come on, Chad. Like, if they ain't pitching in, if y'all pitch in, you know what I'm saying, you can get some.
Hey, we'll max it at a certain amount. We'll do a $10 or $20 bet, and we'll be good.
Oh yeah. You might not want to participate. Stuff. It'd be bad weekends, folks, but it'd also be great weekends. Like, let's not get it wrong. Shout out Bilal Muhammad, my goat.
That's true. All right, Gabe.
It's good to be back. Something to like, chill, vibe. You feel me, Matt?
Just a little look. It's just a little welcome back to the show. We know you've been in Cancun, getting all your stuff ready to go. But hey, 2025, we got a lot in store for the weeks to come.
Cancun, by the way.
Say again.
Visited Dak and CD. At least we don't pay our QB a shit ton.
Hey man, I'm just very happy that we don't have Mike McCarthy. So help me God if I wake up and Deion Sanders is not the head coach, but
Jerry Jones will be your head coach. I think that's what the
probably.
Now, next week I'm gonna try to catch up with Kyle. I'm sad I missed him, but y'all got to see him earlier this episode. Missed some fun NFL talk. But next week I'll catch up with Kyle. We'll chill. Have the boys officially back in town. You feel me, Matt?
Get the whole gang together, brother.
And then we'll really get Gabe's gambles rolling. Just know I bet Marab, which was a nice little come up. But
hey, if we build this bet and we start winning, we're gonna have to change that name.
Oh, we winning, bro.
Just so you know.
I'll give it a Gabe Hutton guarantee. Shout out to Stuck. Like, come on, man. We winning next week, man. I ain't worried, man.
Hell yeah. All right, dude. Kyle usually does the wrap up, but I guess I'm doing it today.
Take over, Playboy.
Hey, look, if you like the video, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. You got all of our socials in the description. Look, I don't know this script like he does. I usually just sit back and watch. But we'll catch you guys early next week. Should be back to our regular scheduled programming, talking some recap of the NFL this weekend. So, Gabe, no UFC, so enjoy the playoffs this weekend.
Bang, bang.
And we'll see y'all next time.
Yes,